What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for the official 2022 recap video. I typically do these right at the beginning of the new year where I'll look back across the previous year, talk a little bit about what kits we built, and have some fun walking down memory lane. So I thought we'd do the same thing here for 2022, seeing as we're now moving into 2023. Overall though, last year wasn't too bad. I built about 17 model kits and I had a lot of fun with most of the models that I had built. Plus it was year number 4 for the 12 sprues, so that was hectic as usual, but also a lot of fun. Go ahead and check out the kits and take a walk down memory lane. We'll start off here with our PBY-5 Catalina. I built this for the Pearl Harbor group build, actually added some motors into the engines there so you can flip a switch and they'll spin, which is really cool. Tried getting like an action shot of it taking off the water. Water base wasn't that great. I could have done a bit more on that, but you know what? Not too bad, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a ton as well. Moving right along here, guys, Joe and I built the Tamiya F4D1 Skyray for our buddy build that we like to do. This was his first jet here on the bench, and it was a repeat for me, but it was such a fun model, and it turned out way better than my previous attempt. So this was a great model kit, super fun, and of course it's Cold War. This was also a pretty big year on SciFi. I finished off the Lando Falcon that I had started in 2021. We added lights in the cockpit, in the living quarters, as well as the engines. We added some fiber optics on the bottom of the saucer. We did a custom base to try to kind of make it feel a little bit more like the Falcon. A beautiful model and a great build. Along those same lines, we also built the 2500 scale USS Shenzhou from Star Trek Discovery. I actually received a special gift from Kenny over at HobbyLink International of the photo etch set by Green Strawberry, so I put as much lighting in here as I could. Thank you again, Kenny, for all of your help. Actually got a chance to finally build my P400 Era Cobra by Edward. This is the Profapack edition, and I built it in the color scheme of the Resurrection, which I guess was actually a couple of P400s kind of cobbled together. A very interesting paint job, a lot of fun. Gotta build another one for sure. And then of course we have the 12 Sprues of Kit-Mas, my giant holiday build series. We built a lot of cool kits, some okay kits, but mostly we had fun, and that's all that really matters. We started off with day 1 here on the TBF1 Avenger. This is the Academy kit. It's a little bit on the older side, but the fit was okay. I didn't really notice anything too crazy with that. This was a good place to start for sure because it wasn't too terribly complicated. No detail whatsoever, so I just blacked out the canopy and made it into a desk stand where I can put it on my windowsill there at work, and it'll fit in well with the other kits I've got sitting around. Not great, but not terrible. Day number 2, we ramped it up a little bit though with another Academy kit, this time the P40E Warhawk, and I did that in the really cool colors of the Aleutian P40s. Part fit was pretty good. Canopy of course did not fit, so I ended up closing it up, but otherwise a fun little model. Moving on to day number 3, guys, we actually made our first ornament for our tree. This is the MiG-27 Flogger D, and I gotta tell you, not a great kit. Not terrible, mind you, but also not that great. Inconsistent detail, incorrect shape, no detail in the cockpit. Weapons were kind of off, so I did my best. I built it up, I had fun, I made it an ornament, and I think it looks really cool on the tree. Moving on to day number 4, guys, we actually drew the BF109E4. This was a great model, had a lot of fun. Parts just kind of fell together, which was really cool, especially coming off that MiG-27. Canopy was a little bit soft on the framing, but otherwise good detail and a great little size. Day number 5 though, I didn't have as much luck with the P51D Mustang. It wasn't a terrible kit, but there was really bad fit issues between the flaps and the wings. Had to do a lot of sanding to get those down to be actually flush. Cockpit detail was okay, had some weird 3D relief details on the instrument panel, so for a real quick build, not too bad. For the price I paid, it's all good. Day number 6 was probably my favorite kit of the whole series, the F104J Starfighter. Built this one up in a really cool Japanese self-defense force markings, so it's got some natural metal, it's got some other paint in there, and it was really fun to build. Great cockpit detail, wonderful part fit, highly recommended for you Cold War jet fans. Went on to build the Focker D1. This is the Triplane Weekend Edition kit by Edward. Not a bad kit at all, but it is showing its age, as some of the parts had a little bit of flash on it. Otherwise though, a really fun little model, and a great break from the more complicated paint job there on the 104. Moving on, guys, we actually ended up building the Edward F6F-3 Hellcat Weekend Edition kit. This was so much fun. Part fit was awesome, details were great. I did have a little bit of issue with the center section of the canopy, but otherwise, paint scheme I chose is really striking and kind of jumps out at you. Just a ton of fun there on the bench. Now moving on to the Hassagawa FNF-2 Panther. Not a great kit, some issues with some of the details. Could use a lot of work to make it even better, but I painted it up as an ornament in that really cool light gold gray over white with the red slashes. It was a lot of fun, really striking, and it super stands out there on the tree. For the next model, I built the F4U1 Corsair. I built it up as a 1D in the markings of Philip C. DeLong. Not a bad kit really, but also not a great kit either. some definite issues with detail, with accuracy. I did have to scratch build cut out in the tailwheel doors as well as the fairing right behind the tailwheel, but the decals were fantastic. None of them silvered, so I gotta say it's a win for sure. For day number 11, we built the A6M5 Type 52 by Academy. Not a great kit, to be honest. Some very iffy part fit, some questionable details. I did end up building up a pilot and tossing him inside to cover the lack of details, but overall I had fun with it. Plus it gave me a chance to paint with that really cool Mitsubishi green. And for day number 12, guys, we built the Bolt & Paul Defiant Mark 1 by Airfix. This was a fantastic build. I had so much fun with this one. I ended up putting it onto a stand that I pulled out of an old Bandai X-Wing. So I think that's a great move. I can drop it there on the desk and I have something cool to look at as I go through my workday. So I'm very happy with it. But that is it, guys. Those were the kits for 2022. We built 17 total. That was the best year for 12 sprues in my opinion. The girlfriend did a phenomenal job getting those ordered up. They flowed really, really well. So I'm excited to say we're moving into 2023 and I've got a couple of ideas for this year. For example, we have to get back on that F86 Sabre. We got to finish that up for the Rivals build. I also want to get in on that MiG-15 as well. I know Joe hates that model so much, but I want to give it a try and see if I can't master it. We also have a lot of SciFi projects kind of spinning around in the back of my head, so hopefully I can get those out there on SciFi Wednesdays. And finally, I've got a lot of other video ideas in the back of my mind as well that I want to go ahead and try to implement this year if I can. So we're going to be working on the channel. I'm going to try to post more on Instagram with some finished products. I got a nice little photo booth set up, so I'm hoping I can master that and we can see the channel continue to grow. So stay tuned for more Ben Builds. Thank you so much for joining me on all the modeling adventures for 2022. Big shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are awesome. All the interactions, all the thumbs up, all the comments, really, really appreciate it. We're moving into 2023 and I got to tell you, I'm excited to see what we can come up with. Until then, guys, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on our next episode, guys. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.